On a youth group trip one evening, I heard a bunch of boys yelling in the distance. As I walked over to see what the commotion was about, I saw a bunch of shirtless dudes crowded around one kid who was slightly bent over. As I got closer, I saw something dangling from this kid's chest. Come to find out, a student had some friends put a crawdad on his chest, and the claw latched right onto his nipple. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Youth Group Chronicles. In the studio tonight, Pastor Cole Clark and Pastor Timmy Stearns.
What's up, everybody?
Welcome, you guys. Since you guys recorded together, one person has not. They've literally come up to me all the time. They're like, "I need Pastor Cole and Pastor Tim back on the podcast." It was Pastor Cole.
Hey man, guys, fans are going crazy.
I'm not even mad. I don't care.
Fans are going crazy.
He's been waiting for this one, and it worked out for this evening. So thank you guys for being here.
If you want to do me and Pastor Tim again, I'm down.
Hey, we made it, man. By the glory
I just want to say this: we went out to Boston on the one nights, and
shout out Boston.
The Brazilians loved our ice joke. The ice one.
Oh.
They wanted us to wear.
People not. It was some people didn't like it. Just.
Well, those people
were
they
homeschool moms,
or were they Brazilian?
They were white.
Because the Brazilians,
it's always the white people that get tight about it.
The Brazilians liked it.
I thought it was really funny.
People enjoyed it a
the
ton.
Unwhite, that's crazy.
Is it crazy? I don't know.
I'm sorry, guys.
Whatever.
Even told a story and where
whatever. The unwhite had to put white in there. The unwhite. No. People
what was that? The
people are
the van, right?
Save me. Yes, that was the van, and they showed up with ice on it, and they were like disappointed Pastor Tim didn't come, and they were like, we were hoping that you both came, and we told Pastor Cody that you guys should wear ice shirts when you show up. I was like, crazy.
They recognize you for that? That's really funny.
I was like, dang.
That's hilarious.
We got a Mexican also approving of the ice story. We're good, guys.
We're on Instagram Live. Guys, let us know where you're watching from.
I will say this. I mean, the people on listening to the podcast, you guys are missing out. If you're not on the Instagram Live,
you actually are missing out.
You have a chance, and a choice.
We have a choice.
If I mix those together, you got a choice of actually showing up on the episode. We're out here reading the comments. Shout out to Mick Wiles, 216 Arizona. See, I could have shouted you out. Listen to the podcast.
Something that we recently started doing is we actually have two, I don't know, like what, 45-inch, 50-inch TVs.
Welcome, Hayden Blank.
So we all are reading. We're sitting here reading these comments, and it makes it a lot more fun getting to actually see what you guys say on Instagram Live, because before it was too much to multitask. But now we can see. So hop on the live if you're listening to this in podcast form. But we will kick this off with a story from Ty. A local youth group event decided to do a contest where they tied a ribbon around the tail of a pig. The first person to get the ribbon won. However, the guy they asked to get the pig didn't understand the assignment, and he decided to trap a wild hog and bring that for the competition instead.
No way.
When the time came to start the competition, there were at least 150 kids present.
No way.
And when they said go, they released this hog, and this thing absolutely freaked out. Next thing we know, we heard a blood-curdling scream. Come to find out, one of the girls decided to grab the hog by the head.
No way.
To get it to stop. And in retaliation, it nearly bit her finger completely off.
Oh my gosh.
It had done so much damage. It was to the point where the bone was exposed, and it was literally hanging on by a thread.
Wow.
He's a healer.
Wow. First off, we can't blame the dude for being resourceful.
He's doing his best.
That was
wild hogs are in abundance.
Budget cuts is what that was.
Budget cuts.
It was like, man, I don't own any more pigs.
I don't,
because of taxes.
Yeah.
But there's a ton of wild hogs on my property going crazy right now.
How did he catch it? What do you do
both
to catch a wild hog?
Bacon is in both of them.
Bacon.
So. I feel like you could trap them. I don't know much about trapping.
Wild hogs?
They're like dangerous,
no, dude,
right?
you can fly helicopters.
And shoot them, right?
And shoot them from the helicopter.
Well, what
it's
about
like
how do you catch them alive, though?
They have I don't know.
Like probably
they trap them. They have like creative traps too. Like people are now selling their traps.
But like I heard that it's
like
dangerous
expos.
to hunt wild hogs because you don't think it's dangerous, and so you're like, oh, let me just go.
I would not, but they can maul you,
but
right?
Like, yeah, they like kill people,
tear you.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't. This girl didn't die.
Right.
So
let's let him go.
Dies.
Let's let a wild hog go in an event
with 150 kids.
Safe.
I was thinking. A pig, like I don't know if you've ever seen like at the fair where they auction them off.
They're big.
They're actually super expensive.
Really?
So no wonder, like the guy, like
Yeah.
I'm thinking like $1,200 for like a
He knew what he
big.
was
That's
doing.
crazy. No, they
I could
said
be wrong,
we
but-
need a pig. He said, how much money we got? $20.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I got you.
I got you.
Budget cuts.
Walmart brand pig is a hog.
But like, is anything fun if there's not like a little bit
A
of
little
danger?
risk.
Yeah.
That's-
Maybe not like lose your finger danger,
Yes.
I don't think they saw that coming,
but like a chance to lose your finger danger.
Things are still fun. I
Like a
can definitely
chance.
confirm.
I say you gotta add a little spice. So.
Okay.
You got him.
Add a little bit of spice.
This is a story from Grace.
What up, Grace?
At our youth camp, the pranks were pretty brutal.
Oh no.
Think dead
brutal.
rats in beds,
Dead rats in beds.
fart bombs, shaving cream in bags, etc.
Classical.
One morning, one of my youth leaders pulled me aside and asked if I saw any of the senior boys near his car.
Oh no.
Long story short, someone had slashed the tires of his car.
It's just a prank, bro. The
Just a prank.
The prank. I
Maybe
can't get home.
unpopular opinion, I hate prank wars.
Yeah.
I think they are the dumbest thing.
Yeah. I know people who love pranks, and I'm like, that's good for you.
No,
You
I
do it
dude,
by
I
yourself,
hate them
not
so
me.
much. I'm like, it's not funny to literally destroy someone's clothes for the week.
But
How is that funny? With shaving cream?
Yeah.
kids
not funny
also
to
don't
me.
understand like
I don't know.
how expensive tires are. They're like, oh, let me just
Yeah,
slash
that-
your
Oh,
tire.
exactly.
It's like that's $1,000.
That's $1,000.
The
Yeah.
kid doesn't know.
The kid knew. He was like, my youth pastor was supposed to pick me up last
Yeah.
week, and he fell through.
This
So I took his tires.
is the last time we don't get the ice cream. I say,
No,
come on,
but
Pastor.
honestly, I have pranks that I've performed.
Yeah.
That like this person was multiple people were so upset that
Is this
like
at the
they were
church?
willing to end relationships, but they still don't know it was me.
I
So
feel
I've
like
just
that's what
stayed
this
quiet.
was. I don't know if the guy ever found out.
I've just stayed quiet about multiple things that I've done.
Do I know
He's
these
coming,
people?
coming clean right now.
You one of them.
You are one of them. No,
Do they
one of
watch
the
this
moments-
show?
There's a possibility.
Could they find out now if you just said the prank?
Absolutely. They would 100% unequivocally have all the answers to
Hey,
what happened.
Chat, am I alone by saying that pranks are just dumb? Okay, pranks that destroy property, not okay.
See, there we go.
But it
or-
depends on what kind of property.
Like it just depends, like how
Someone's-
expensive. Like if it's a
Like,
dollar,
It's just frustrating. I'm
Right.
like,
or if it's
this
just
is-
like inconvenient.
I
You
could
know,
I don't know.
What if I do like a prank where it's like we take that shirt that has 6 mustard stains that's your favorite and we burn it in front of you, but then behind my back is 6 brand new t-shirts.
it's like that sounds like a.
Is that like the guy that goes
illustration.
up and snips? Like
Yes,
the
like people who
headphones?
like
He's I got
snips their headphones
AirPods.
and then gives them earpods. He's like, how can I do something really illegal and get away with it? We got to
Nah.
counterbalance it.
My favorite was when this kid he took AirPods from in the store and gave it to a lady and
Dude,
said,
I
just wanted to
love
give you these.
that video.
He didn't pay for them. He's like took it off the shelf and handed it to him.
And it was
"Hey, I
like
give you
the
these.
music behind him, and it's like hey, I just want to give this to you. Like I know we're in, and they're like, are you? Yeah, they're like, are you serious for me? They like started to cry, and then it switches and clips them walking out of the store. Like,
Oh, I
Dude,
love it.
imagine though that you were like, I'm gonna snip their headphones and give them AirPods,
Uh-huh.
and they took your AirPods and still charged you.
Well, actually,
They were
I
like,
saw those
right?
videos. I saw that video, and I think he also gives wired ones just
That-
in case. But people are like, man, like, what about if they didn't want the AirPods and they didn't want the EMF or something?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
things.
Imagine if they still charge you for damaging the property.
That'd be
What
funny.
if they're just
Replaced
really
everything.
petty?
Hey, as you
Nope.
should.
They're
As you
like,
should.
no, you know what? I was midway through that song, and I'll never get that moment back.
Wow. Honestly.
You can replace my AirPods or headphones, but
replace
you
that
can't
moment.
replace that moment.
Wow.
This is from GJ.
GJ.
My first month of being a youth pastor, I accidentally helped my student buy weed.
Oh.
Accidentally.
One of my
That's
students, who was 17 at the time, didn't have a car. So I picked him up from his parents' house for lunch.
Mm-hmm.
That's when he asked me if we could stop at his friend's house because he had to, quote, pick something up.
Pick some up real quick.
Not knowing what was about to happen, I
Mm.
just agreed to it.
Yeah.
As we arrived at the house, his friend pulled up to my passenger side, and that's where I noticed my student pull out some cash to give his friend. I was in complete shock, knowing I had an illegal pharmaceutical purchase just happened in my car, and I had
Pharmaceutical.
helped out with it.
This is pharmaceutical grade. How does
An
he
illegal
know?
pharmaceutical purchase.
TJ, how do you know that was pharmaceutical?
At that moment, I panicked and I didn't know what to do. So I just pretended to ignore it and then continued on my day, taking the student out for lunch. This guy did clarify he did later call the parents and let them know what happened.
That's funny. I just gotta pick some up real quick.
TJ, I would just
How can
like
it be
to tell
any
you,
more
stressed.
obvious?
I'm
I'd just like to
stressed,
tell you
man.
that there's been multiple moments that I thought I was going to a friend's house, and I ended up at the trap house.
Dang.
And sometimes you just never know. You
never
just
know.
trust their
As
word.
a youth pastor or just hanging out with friends? in
No,
high school?
as a youth pastor.
Last week.
Yeah,
Today.
man, it happens.
No.
I don't know what to say. What do you do?
How do
Not
they,
trust
how
them?
do they
What do you-
explain
is
their
the-
way
how do
out
you-
of it?
Yeah, but how do you? Well, it's most of them don't hide it.
They just don't care.
They're like, I sell drugs. Take it or leave it.
I sell drugs.
Like, who are you gonna tell? My
Take it or
mom? Like, they don't care.
Yeah.
They're like, where is she?
Dang.
Real question. Real sad.
Dang.
That is
Anyway,
true.
this is supposed to make you laugh. Not cry.
Hey man, if you want to give, you can give right now
Yeah.
to Youth Group, man, to help this guy. Help this guy reach.
You can sponsor a child.
You could sponsor.
I will say we're in New Mexico and there's this guy at the church, like brand new at the church, and he's telling me, he's like, yeah, I went to Penn State. I was like, oh yeah? Yeah. I was like, okay. And he's like kind of smiling. I'm like, what is this? He says, yeah, I got in trouble with the police, man. Took me to Penn State. I mean, like the penitentiary.
Oh,
There's the state pen right off. I think it's I-80.
Really?
It's right near Penn State.
This one was in New Mexico, so I don't know where this was. Anyways, but he's like, yeah, I was selling pharmaceuticals without a license. I was like,
AKA
what?
selling weed.
No, yeah, he's like selling drugs. I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, I went to Penn State for it. I'm like, what? Dude?
So you told him you
went all the way.
were from New York, Pennsylvania?
No.
What'd
He
you say?
means Penn State, meaning the penitentiary.
Oh, because
he got a D1
Penn
offer.
State, Pennsylvania,
He got
State College, Pennsylvania
Yeah.
has a state
Division
pen.
1 drug seller.
Gotcha.
Went all the way.
Yeah, man, they didn't accept my license for selling.
No, so in State College, if you're driving down, I think it's interstate. the state pen is so close to the interstate that there's like signs
Mhm.
that say if you stop your vehicle,
Yeah.
like we're sending law enforcement to you
Yes.
because they think that you're trying to help someone escape from prison.
Yep.
I think we've driven down that strip a couple times getting to Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
so.
there's a road, same in New Mexico, where it's like, do not
Do
stop
not
your
stop.
car for any reason. Continue to go. If you see someone on the sidewalk, do not give them a ride.
Imagine realizing right there that your youth student cut all 4 of your tires.
You got it
Right? It was
slashed
right there. You realized. Not
No,
from a Penn
honestly,
State.
knowing the vans and the buses that have made it on this show, just don't drive on that road.
Mhm.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah. Just
It would be your luck.
It'd be
You'd
like
stop
your
with 80
bus
kids in the back.
Breaks down. Kids are getting smoke inhalation. And you broke down next to a weed dispensary across the street
From the state
from
pen.
Penn State.
From Penn State.
The state penitentiary.
That's crazy.
This is a story from Justin. And guys, if you have stories you want to send in, stories@ygcpodcast.com is where you can submit them for a chance to make it on the show. Justin said, on a youth group trip one evening, I heard a bunch of boys yelling in the distance.
Oh.
This is not unusual,
Correct.
given that we were at church camp, but I thought it might be a good idea to investigate.
Yeah.
As I walked over to see what the commotion was about, I saw a bunch of shirtless dudes crowded around one kid who was slightly bent over. As I got closer, I saw something dangling from this kid's chest.
Just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep
Pause.
going. Just
Pause.
no, just
Yeah,
keep going.
big pause.
That is a
All
pause.
right, just keep going. Just keep going. We're gonna make it.
Come to find out, a student had some friends put a crawdad on his chest,
That
and
got
the
way
claw
better.
latched right onto his nipple.
It's honestly better than I thought it was gonna be. The Youth
What
Group
did you
Chronicle
think?
I just made in my head was way worse.
There's 2 versions of Youth Group Chronicles. There's the
Wow.
one that happens, and there's the one you think that happens.
The one
This
with the crawdad in your nipple wasn't as bad.
That's good. That's actually a good. That's a good end to that story.
That's a
great.
good end.
Wow.
That's good.
I would not want it happening to me.
I
That's
mean,
all.
no, but
no. Yeah.
Yeah, the other ending was a little wild.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I did not notice that as I was reading.
Crawdad is terrible. Sorry.
there. I'm so sorry, man.
Sorry.
But
Hope
what
you're
was
doing
in
all right.
his head was a lot worse.
Someone said nip clip.
Not the
crazy to
nip
me.
clip.
Oh man.
Yeah, that would be Youth Group Chronicles After Dark, Gabe.
Yeah.
That's a different podcast.
That's a different. That's
So
like the setup was terrible for that. like the ending almost had nothing to do with the setup.
Please, man, please.
And then there was one kid on the ground
Please.
with something dangling from his chest.
Please.
A crawdad.
here in season 5, we're doing something new. We are doing something I'm calling the mailbag.
Oh.
And again, if you guys have, I know, if
Mail
you
sack.
don't like the name, send us a suggestion on Instagram. Send us a DM if you have a better name, and maybe we will
What about the
change the name of
envelope
the segment.
sack?
What's that?
The envelope sack
The envelope sack? Okay, that's an option.
kind of flows.
Kind of. We'll add it to the list. So
That means no.
This is my third different drink.
yeah, you pull up with a water, a soda, and a medicine ball,
And fries.
and fries.
And a whole
And
meal.
what was it? The burger? It was the. What's it called?
McBang.
Wow.
Which is what?
It is that is the abbreviated version. You can Google it. Actually, don't. It's a McChicken in the middle of a McDouble.
Disgusting.
So
I
it's
hate
like
McDonald's.
it's like a Big Mac, but you replace one of the patties for a chicken
Gotcha.
patty.
This
Yeah.
is what he pulled up. He's been eating it the whole time. So
It's
you can hear him.
fantastic, and it's free Friday. So
If you're on the
And
if
I
you're
have
listening
points.
online, all you're hearing is
Yo, people actually get so tight when someone eats food.
come on now,
Especially, I think it was
I think our
mostly
views would go up.
Pastor and Isaiah. I
If you
think
just
did
clip
it.
this.
Just
That's
say
crazy.
ASMR. That's all you have to do. This is a question from Audrey.
open up the
Or
envelope
Aubrey,
sack. What
I'm
does
sorry.
it say?
The envelope sack.
This is the envelope sack. Aubrey said, "What is your most embarrassing moment when you were in youth group? Does anything come to mind for you?"
Yes.
All right, go.
Immediately,
You can
yes.
start. Go ahead.
This is like a Pentecostal thing. I don't know why it just came to my head. So like I grabbed this kid and I was like just gonna pray for him. Totally normal. Kid's not really churched. Laid hands on him. Just praying with him like a bro. He's good. I look to it the next to him, and there's this kid, and I'm like, oh, I feel to pray for him too. And it was just one of those moments where like I didn't even touch him yet. I was just trying to like almost talk to him. Like, you know, before you pray, you're like, how you doing, man?
Yeah.
And he was like, and the kid was just like, no catcher.
Just
decided-
collapsed.
He said, "I'm out."
Just was out. He just made that decision. And like in the moment, I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. But he just took a little floor nap.
Little floor nap.
Yep. And you know it's always like, I'm not, you know, this has happened a lot, but you know it's always
Yeah.
like questionable when they
Uh-huh.
hit the ground and then they start like fixing their clothes.
Yeah.
Like
That's when you know.
immediately on impact. They're like, boom.
Yep. The 3 adjustments. It's just
Yes.
I,
like,
don't know, I
no.
just think that
They like grab their own prayer cloth and like put it over.
Yeah, yeah. It's like,
but
girl,
like I felt weird because I'm like,
Miss K's
with
coming
people
with the prayer cloth.
don't
We're
don't
gonna
know
be okay.
Jesus.
She's
Uh-huh.
coming.
And I'm like bringing them to church.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I'm just going to pray. And then they just look over and timber.
You were in youth group during that?
I wasn't a leader. I was one of them kids.
He was one of
Oh,
those.
one of those kids.
in that
Has
moment,
to
I
pray
was.
for everybody. You
So
probably
yeah,
got to
that's
talk to after
embarrassing by
service.
itself. Say like, hey, don't lay hands on people.
Yeah, they had to have a chat with you.
Yeah,
I didn't even mean it.
I definitely had one of those too. Yeah. I was just like praying for people and they're like, hey, can you like you gotta tell us before you I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. No, my embarrassing story though, it was when it was like half related to youth group. Like there was a girl there and she had acne, and I'm like, she's cute, except for she has crazy acne. And I told people, and I just feel bad. I don't know if it's
did you get back
embarrassing.
to her?
I just feel bad about it. And it's the craziest part was my acne was probably worse than hers. So it's just like, I don't know, but I kind of hate it. I just like cringe a little bit and I think about it. I'm like,
Mhm.
If that got back to
I'm
her,
sorry.
maybe she knows.
she probably does.
She probably does.
Yeah,
That's when it's worse. I'm trying to think. I had to think about it a little bit. I don't remember any super embarrassing things from youth group. The biggest thing happened at youth camp,
Mm.
and I've told the story before, so you might have to go back and listen. But it was when I ate it on rollerblades in front of like 50 people trying to show off.
Wow.
Around, actually, there's probably more people than that. So people don't like it when we repeat stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go back and listen. I've said it a few times. But what's that? Oh, I did. It wasn't super embarrassing. I split my pants at youth group playing basketball. I don't play basketball, so that should be your first clue.
Oh,
Yeah.
when you're at conference, I was balling in some Chelsea,
Oh no.
in some skinny,
like
Zion-
skinny
I can
black
see
pants,
this.
and some
What's his name?
Chelseas.
I can see this. This is like Pastor Tim, no glasses.
Oh yeah, that was back
Shaved
in the day. Man.
face.
Yep.
You split them?
No hat. Hair
No, I
spiked
just-
up.
I just balled.
Oh, I thought there was a
just
story.
balling in
Put
the
in some
Chelsea's.
Chelsea's and
No
a real tight button up.
No story. It was just embarrassing. If there's like a picture or video of that, I'd delete it.
Right.
I'd find someone.
I don't know, man. Like, I think most things were just like I was a tool bag when I was in youth.
Yeah.
And I'm embarrassed now, but I wasn't embarrassed then.
Exactly.
You know?
I feel that.
This is a question from Luke Godby. He said, has there ever been a moment you wanted to kick a kid out of youth group?
Been a moment I did it.
You've kicked a kid out?
Multiple.
Have you really?
Multiple.
When I was serving,
Oh no.
I don't
I don't
think there was a time. I could totally be wrong. I don't think there was a kid that got kicked out.
No?
At least when I was serving.
Well, I mean, like, I think most kids have an asterisk by it, right? Like,
Like they come back
I
in
don't
3
like,
weeks.
some kids are kicked out indefinitely.
Yeah.
Which is like what the word means, you know, like unless notified otherwise.
Yeah.
But it just comes down to like the safety of everyone.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we're cool with like everything but harm being
That's
other
true.
people.
Actually, no, there was one. I think he was in my small group, and he was riding the bus home, wouldn't get off. Cops had to try and get him on, and then he made a scene and got tased.
Oh my.
And then everyone was like, justice for so-and-so. But he was
Justice
100%. Yeah, they tried to
so-and-so.
make a big thing out of it.
Yeah, we've had
It was his fault.
bad moments on the bus.
Yeah.
I think he was hoping for attention. To be honest.
You kick him out on Thursday night, and then on Sunday I see him. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? What's going on? Hey, how are you?
So not too often. The asterisk is true. This is a question from Die. D-I-E is _Bungie. If you could tell yourself anything before entering youth ministry, what would it be? This is a good question for Pastor Cole. He is currently a youth pastor. One thing. Sorry to put you on the spot.
I got it right here.
All right, go for it.
I would tell myself, don't think that adults are much different. They just look older.
Wow.
They really deal with the same things. They're just so
Oh,
like
that's true,
I think
yeah.
there's this idea that like, well, my problems would go away if I was just dealing with people who'd understand. But it's like, no, try
not
talking
true.
to a 40-year-old person who's now looking at you and they're like, no, I've been doing this for 40 years. They still don't understand and now they're more stubborn. So
Fair.
yeah.
That's true.
Last question is from Wyatt. What baseball teams are y'all in for?
Yankees.
Are you actually a Yankees fan, or are you just like
I'm
rep
from
the
New
Judges?
York, and therefore Han Soto's coming to the Yankees, correct?
Han Soto?
I don't know what I'm saying.
Juan
Soto.
You know Han Solo? Han Solo on the way, man.
I think you just mixed up two.
Hey, delete that, Elijah.
No, that is staying.
Hey,
Han
Ben,
Soto
delete
to
that,
the Yankees,
Sam.
baby. Yeah, we have. So he's
Can
a
you bleep
diehard
that
Yankees
out?
fan, guys, as you can tell.
He loves it.
Pastor Tim is wearing a Brave shirt and a Yankee cap. American League and National
Well,
League.
like I have to.
One thing about me.
Like I'll die on the
I
hill
forgot to
of
think
just saying like I'm from New York,
Okay,
Yeah,
fair.
and that's just what my family's like, and maybe I don't have enough time to follow it, but
Yeah.
That's
I'll rep New York for the state.
Yeah.
Be like, you like the Yankees? I'm like, I like the state. You know. But they're like, why don't the bets? I'm like, I like the logo for the Yankees.
yeah.
But I used to like the Braves a lot back when like
Well,
Andrew Jones.
you spent a lot of time in Atlanta.
Yeah. That's where I
Good
got the
team.
shirt.
Both are
Shout
good
out,
teams.
shout out,
Yankees
shout
is
out.
the most. I know more about basketball because that's.
Well,
I
okay,
play
yeah, it's kind of
basketball.
unfair because it's not your sport. For
Yeah.
me, baseball.
Yeah.
Huge baseball fan. Yankees are my team.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I will say I found out the Braves were doing good when people got mad because I have a bunch of Brave stuff.
Oh,
There's
Matt
like
Olson.
for free all the time, and I found out they started doing good when people were like, Psh, of course you got that on. I'm like,
Okay.
What,
bro?
Like, he's got like an LA hat on backwards, but he's got this Brave. Of course, you got the Braves on.
yeah, they're mad. They're like, oh, the Braves, huh? I'm like, sure. You
I
know?
have a Yankees hat that was like I can't remember where World Series was, but it's LA versus Yankees, and the hat.
that
is-
must have been older.
And the
Probably
hat
like
has
70s.
a LA and a Yankees logo on the front.
Oh, that's kinda
and
cool.
people are like, this dude like stopped me in the store one day and he's like, "What's going on, man?"
What's going on, man?
He thought it was
Let's figure this out.
sports, non-binary.
For sports, who do you like? They, them. I like all of them.
Well, I know Yankees the most winning sports team in all history.
All right. Yes, they are.
So I
All
might
right, that
not
answers
know-
your question, Wyatt. So, guys, if you have questions for mail sack, what do
Yep.
we call it? Envelope sack?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Mailbag? Mail time? Question time?
PO box.
Questions at ygcpodcast.com is
Emails
where you
we
can send
read.
in your questions. Someone said, am I the only non-sports fan person in here?
Nah.
I mean, maybe
Matt
in-
Earp, the Asian man, you're not the only non-sports
maybe not the
person.
chat, but thank you for sending in your questions, guys. This is a story from Avery. Avery said, one night on an overseas mission trip, we realized that a girl was missing. The youth
Overseas.
pastor and leaders hadn't heard from her, and they didn't know where she was. The leaders were trying to keep it quiet while they figured it out. But eventually, everybody had heard that she was missing. At this point, her sister started crying, thinking that she was lost forever, and everyone was panicking. The entire group of leaders and youth even started praying for her to be found.
That's what I would have done.
Wow.
Not long after, one of the leaders decided to go check her room and found that she had just been napping.
Wow. That's powerful. She's trying to be like Jesus in the bottom of the boat.
This is what problem solving doesn't look like. This is what non-problem solvers do.
You know,
Did you check her room?
I wonder. Imagine she was kidnapped.
Yeah, that's...
And they prayed.
And she just transported?
Won't he do it? He did it.
I mean, they could have asked her, though.
He did it in the Bible.
But memory wipe or something. She's like, I don't know how I got here.
Were you transported? Like, instead of just asking if she was like...
Nah, that's fire.
Also, your first guess wasn't to go check in...
That's what I'm saying. Room. Where's she at? Did anyone check her room?
Kidnapped.
That's what I'm saying.
Where's she at?
She was kidnapped. Went from 0 to 100 way too fast.
I should have known when she started crying.
The sister?
Her sister. That like this was it.
Who did she share a room with?
She didn't even get like...
That's true.
Like, you know, she was thinking the worst.
I mean, you're in Mexico.
Yeah, overseas.
I was talking about the other night. Oh, wild.
Yeah. That's...
Can't share that one on YouTube.
I'd be praying. I'm not going to lie.
This is from Pastor Jason.
What up, Pastor Jason? Come
Jason.
on.
Me and a couple of my friends were part of the bathroom cleanup team every night at our youth camp.
Service. Come on.
Once the students went to bed, it was our job to clean the bathrooms and get them ready for the next day.
Amen.
One night, there was still a young student in the stall taking a number 2.
Okay.
We didn't think anything of it, so we just went to the other stalls and cleaned them first.
Okay.
When we finished cleaning, the student still hadn't wrapped up yet. Just as I was about to knock on the door to see if he was almost done, he started singing very loudly one of the worship songs from that night's service. But that wasn't just it. We also kept hearing splashes of water between the lyrics. We didn't know what to do, so we kind of just stayed back and listened while we waited for him to get done. Finally, he came out,
worshiping with him.
and to his shock, he made direct eye contact with us. He quickly bolted out of the bathroom and ran back to his room. We shrugged it off and went in to clean the bathroom, but once we got in there, I noticed the lyrics of the worship song had been written on the walls of this stall with the kids' poop.
Let it rain.
Chocolate rain.
Let it rain. Chocolate rain.
I want to know the song.
Floodgates of heaven.
How do you not get convicted?
You got to know.
Right.
He was as soon as the eye contact happened.
He walked.
No,
out.
it's one of two things. It's one, the kids.
Maybe he was singing it.
Like maybe he's like a bad kid and like he knew what he was doing, or he's like a weird, different, like ultra prophetic, like camp of churches where he's like, no, the Lord wants me to, even from my mess. He deserves praise in the middle of my mess.
Or
big possibility.
Someone else wrote the lyrics
and he was just reading them.
And he was like,
"That's
he was worshiping to it."
It's like, that's a great worship.
He got
song.
rocked.
You're like, this is incredible.
Worship.
Like, God, I didn't know you'd meet me here.
Come on. He said the writing on the wall. That's honestly probably it.
Come on now,
Pastor Jason, you blamed the wrong kid, man. Come on, give him a break. He was just worshiping.
And whoever did it, they did better than some worship pastors at cultivating a moment.
First students said it was Pour Out Our Praise was the song. Oh,
Pour
no.
out our praise.
It's your breath.
When heaven meets earth like a sloppy wet kiss.
That was gonna be the song, I guessed.
He loves us.
Daniel has joined the chat. He read the book of Daniel the night before. That's wild.
Now he connected eyes. He's like, God is
dang. He wrote on the wall. Over poop. He did eat. He had his fire. Poop was in the fire.
Daniel.
Yeah, and he was like making his food over it.
Bible scholar right here.
No, it wasn't Daniel. It was
this guy graduated Bible school.
It was
Ezekiel.
No,
Elisha.
It was Ezekiel. It was Ezekiel.
Yeah, he was weird. I mean, he's like, I laid on myself.
Imagine God telling you to do that, though.
Yeah,
maybe this kid had read.
Like if a kid came and told me that, I'd be like, "That's not God.
That's not God."
But Ezekiel was sure.
Ellie said he didn't even wash his hands. There's a chance.
Dang.
I mean, he ran out.
Well, think about it. It just proves the point that it's not him.
Wow,
that's true. It was someone else.
It wasn't him. He just received. He was like, and he wasn't going to clean it off.
He was worshiping.
It's not his poop. He's not going to clean it off. But he was going to receive.
What if there's a whole nother side? What if he's like, he had that within him for like 3 days and he couldn't get it out? and he's sitting there
praising,
and he's like, "I'm gonna praise my way out of a tough situation." He says, "Pour out our praise, it's your breath," and he praised his way into deliverance. Come on, Pastor Jason.
I don't know, but if we're using the logic of the story before, here's what really happened. What really happened was the poop writing just appeared on the wall.
After they prayed?
Right, because they couldn't find her.
Wow.
So they thought maybe she just
This is some real detective work here.
We're getting into it tonight.
It's a little too deep.
We have, let me see. We have 2 more stories here. This is from Micah. For a small group session at Youth Group, we opened with a question. If you could travel back in time at any point, where would it be? After a few seconds, one of the middle school girls raised her hand and answered that she'd like to go back 3 days before her parents divorced.
Oof, that's good.
The next 60 seconds were literally dead silent as the teacher tried to come up with something to say.
Yeah.
That's easy. That's
all right, wait. It happens. What do you say? Right now.
That happens right there?
Right now. I just want to go back to before my parents were divorced.
Dang, I'm sorry. I would want to too. When was that?
Yeah, I'm definitely deflecting.
Okay, what do you say?
I'm looking hard. I'm like, fair. I don't know.
That was.
I don't even know.
I don't know if you know what a deflection is, but that was not a deflection.
I'd have to be there. I was trying not to deflect.
I'm gonna lean into it. I'm gonna lean into it, man.
You're gonna lean into it?
Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. When was
you
that?
you give him a Snickers, right?
Yeah, I would.
That was your best line. I'm sorry. I thought that was so funny. People commented about that.
I'm sorry, man. You're going through a hard time. You know what? There's some snacks in the cafe. You want one? I got you. I would just don't tell anybody. Pastor Cole runs the cafe.
We were recapping stories for episode 100, and we were talking like, would you rather? And one of them was like, this kid was sad that his mom died, and Jim goes, I would just deflect and say, you want a Snickers? You're not you when you're hungry. Friggin' hilarious.
I don't know. I have a friend. We were in the car on. I have friends.
Amen.
It was the kid in the stall singing the worship song.
He knows Pastor Jason.
I have a friend.
He was the kid.
We were in the car. We're on a long road trip, and we were like, somebody asked a question like, if you could have any superpower, what would you have? I feel like and we're like,
what's going on in this
being mad methodical. Like I want to fly, I want to run, and this person with a straight face goes, I'd want to leave Earth. Like, what? We were like, yo, you good? Like, what's going on?
I'm ready
They're like,
to go.
you know what I mean? No,
we literally do
I
not.
Just want to leave Earth.
I would just not be here.
I just want to leave Earth.
I'd be gone. I'd be here and then I wouldn't.
But if you know the person, you know in their head, they were trying to find a way to be like, I want to be able to just be in the universe without any stipulations. But what it came out was just, I want to leave Earth. I want to leave. You could have any superpower, leave Earth.
That one is not that hard to achieve.
That's crazy.
We have one more story. This is from Blake. We have a legally blind kid that attends our youth group.
Legally blind.
One day at summer camp, we were at the lake, and I noticed that he was applying body wash to his skin like it was sunscreen.
Oh no!
I corrected him and let him use someone else's sunscreen, but that got me thinking. So when we got back to the room, I checked his shower, and sure enough, I found out that he had been using sunscreen as shampoo and body wash for the last 2 days. To make it slightly worse, I checked his sleeping bag that night, and the whole inside was absolutely covered in sunscreen from where he had been crawling into and out of right after his nightly showers.
Dang.
How do never get burnt?
he's not gonna,
never,
except for when he's outside.
He said,
"The skin is probably really tight, like just really."
It like shrunk on him.
No, they actually say sunscreen's good for you. Like it's like a moisturizer.
People like put it on.
Yeah. Like even in the winter, you should wear sunscreen. You should just have something so that covers your face.
Dude, I have not put on sunscreen in probably like 10 years.
Like girls, I've seen girls do it. I don't know. I'm not a girl, but I've seen them do it.
Yeah, like they have
to avoid
moisturizer with it.
I asked my wife
this
about
kid's
it
actually
once,
ahead of the
game.
game.
Like I was like stupid.
I have
like,
never
you,
heard
like,
of someone moisturizing with sunscreen. To be honest,
well, she was
no,
like,
it's like you do it and it like because like the dirt and the air. It's like it's just gonna get in your face instead. It gets on the sunscreen.
Source.
Maybe he's just ahead of the game,
bro.
We must need sunscreen for our lungs too.
All right, this is something that we're also doing. This is to close out episodes. We do a "Would You Rather" segment from 2 stories in the episode. This is brand new for Pastor Cole and Tim. They haven't tried. Actually, Pastor Tim did this a little bit on episode 100, where
100
soft launched this, but this is sticking around. So those 2 stories today. The first one is you have youth kids slash the tires on your car.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? $1,000?
Yes.
You're at camp.
Easy.
Depends on if you know a guy.
If you know,
I know a guy.
Okay.
I got my.
I know a guy. You know
$100.
Tony. Tony,
Michelin.
Tony the tire guy. Come on. Eh?
That is scenario 1. You're at youth camp. You find out all 4 of your tires been slashed.
Yep.
Scenario 2 is someone puts a crayfish on your nipple and it bites it for a minute.
I mean, I'd take a minute over.
Yeah.
Over a
Would you take a minute?
grand.
A claw?
Mm.
Essentially, you're saying I would pay you $1,000.
I'm really scared of
to
what
put
people
that.
will say about me if I agree with that.
I don't care for $1,000.
So
$1,000, dude.
I'm scared about the reruns of this.
The reruns.
So
Chat, where are we at? You have to vote. So if you were right here right now,
Easy. Give me the crayfish.
you gotta take. I'll take the crayfish over $1,000.
But also,
That that does sound.
see, but I also
really
don't put
bad,
myself in situations to be like, hey, man, you should do, like, I'm gonna be like, no, and they're like, nah, you're no fun. I'm like I would already not be in that situation.
For the sake. That's true. For the sake of the game, if you had to choose one,
I would still do it
I would do it too.
because after a while,
For a minute?
it can't not hurt, right?
I would say, man, it's probably about how long the kid had it on. If they didn't clarify, but I'm just.
Plus, I
adding
get
a
to
little
seem
context.
super tough after if I don't like flinch. I'll just
So
be
it
like,
says I have sensitive nipples, but I'm also broke.
There you go.
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Everyone's
Yeah.
saying
I gotta choose, don't I?
You do.
nipple. Eat the crayfish.
Youth Group Chronicles out of
I don't know,
context.
man.
Not even meaning to be.
There might be emotional damage from that. I'm gonna do the tires.
All right. We have found the one.
It's only
with all
because
the
you're
money.
rich. Everybody, Pastor Cole's
Yep.
rich. If you need money, just
Yep.
DM him on Instagram.
Hit him up.
You know.
Hit him
Anyway,
up.
guys, thank you so much for joining me
Don't hit
on
me
this
up.
episode. Pastor
love
Cole, Pastor Tim.
offerings.
Thank you guys for being here. Instagram Live, thank you for hopping on. If you have stories, send them in. Stories at ygcpodcast.com is where you can submit your funny youth group stories for a chance to make it on Youth Group Chronicles.
Yes.
Until next week, see you guys soon.
Hallelujah.